February 20, 2026. Before dawn breaks over the Persian Gulf, 60 hatches blow open simultaneously across the deck of the USS Lincoln. The first Tomahawk missile leaves its cell at 247, followed by 4 more, then 6 at once. Towering white exhaust columns mark the rapid ascent of the strike package as it climbs off the carrier's deck. 60 separate decisions, made in Washington, are now becoming stark reality over the Persian Gulf. Within seconds, each missile levels off just 12 meters above the water, their engines settling into a low whistle that cuts through the wind. 60 streaking warheads thread north, invisible against the dark water, burning toward a mountain that Iran spent $3 billion making bulletproof. The USS Gravely and USS Cole maintain formation on Lincoln's flanks, while 8 FA-18s orbit overhead, their navigation lights blinking slow and cold against the stars. The carrier immediately turns southeast, adhering to standard post-strike protocol. No hesitation, no ceremony. The Lincoln does not wait to witness what she has unleashed. The mission clock ticks down, 42 minutes to Fordow. At 3:15, the volley crosses into Iranian airspace. 3 air defense batteries along the route roar to life. Interceptors climb to meet the strike package over Qom province. 2 contrails simply end with brief flashes, then nothing. Debris scatters wide over the dark desert. The remaining 58 missiles continue north without deviation, terrain hugging at wave-top height, impossible to track at low altitude against ground clutter. 38 minutes pass, then 20, then impact. At 3:29, Fordow receives the first strikes on its ventilation network. Precision entries punch shockwaves downward through the tunnel system, then through the reinforced access tunnels, and finally through the above-ground power infrastructure that the buried installation depends on for everything. The hillside exhales fire in 7 separate places. A column of smoke drives skyward, lit orange from below by spreading secondary fires. The mountain fortress buckles from the inside out. 40 meters south, civilians step outside at the sound and see the northern horizon glowing, not sunrise, not yet. The structure collapses inward. The underground complex, 3 years in construction, begins its ending. Inside Lincoln's Combat Information Center, the mission clock hits 0. The strike commander sets down the handset, noting the time. Around him, displays show 58 confirmed impact signatures against the hardened site. The facility that Iran called untouchable is now open to the sky. The Gulf sits quiet. The Gravely and Cole hold station. The FA-18s continue their circuits for 90 seconds. Nothing moves. Then, at 4:11, exactly 42 minutes after the last Tomahawk left Lincoln's deck, Iran's answer arrives. Not from the direction anyone expected. 3 vectors, 3 separate threats, all moving at the same moment, all aimed at the same ship. From the north, 24 Shahab ballistic missiles climb out of the Alborz foothills on mobile launchers that reposition during the strike window. 24 burning needles ascend the pre-dawn sky in pairs, arcing high before tipping over into descent trajectories. From the east, 18 Iranian Air Force F-4 Phantoms run low and fast at wave-top height. These 24 strike jets carry anti-ship missiles tucked beneath their wings, their engines screaming at maximum military power. From the coastline directly north, something new and unexpected, 4 Iranian heavy artillery batteries and 2 multiple launch rocket systems open fire simultaneously from cliff positions above Bandar Abbas. Not missiles, not aircraft, but masked ground fire arcing outward across the water toward the carrier group. Each salvo is visible as streaks of orange climbing, then falling toward the ships below. Lincoln's captain has 180 seconds. Ballistic missiles are the first problem, offering the least reaction time. SM-3 interceptors launch from the Gravely and Cole in rapid sequence, climbing vertically before arcing north. The destroyer's launch rails cycle without pause, each firing solution committed before the previous round clears the upper atmosphere. High above the Gulf, intercepts begin. The sky cracks open in silent white flashes, brief stars that weren't there before. Light arrives before sound, then sound rolls down 3 seconds later like distant thunder. 17 of the 24 ballistic missiles come apart in the upper atmosphere. 7 continue descending. The Lincoln fires rolling airframe missiles. 5 more shred apart. 2 reach final approach and impact the water close enough to lift the carrier's stern. The shockwave runs through 100,000 tons of steel like a struck bell. Crew below decks grab whatever is nearest as the hull rings. The air battle erupts simultaneously. 8 Fa-18s accelerate outward, engaging the Iranian strike jets at maximum range. IM-120 missiles streak east into the dark. Iranian aircraft begin releasing their anti-ship payloads before being hit, aircraft already coming apart, yet still completing their launch sequence. Weapons are away before wreckage reaches the water. 14 anti-ship missiles are now airborne, self-guided, bearing down at low altitude. 4 are destroyed by SM-2 interceptors from the escorts. 6 are pulled sideways by chaff blooms and flare clusters, impacting the Gulf in white geysers. 4 reach the outer defensive ring. Lincoln's close-in weapon systems spin up, their barrels blurring. Streams of tungsten reach outward in solid lines, the air between ship and incoming weapons appearing to thicken. 3 missiles disintegrate under the fire. The 4th clips Lincoln's port hull, the deck jumping hard enough to throw standing crew members sideways. The aircraft elevator housing on the port edge ceases to exist in recognizable form. A 12-meter section of flight deck peels back like foil, exposing structural steel beneath. The coastal artillery is already hitting water around the Gravely. Shell impacts walk across the surface in lines, massive white columns erupting 45 meters short, then 27 meters, then one landing directly against Gravely's forward section. The destroyer heels hard to starboard from the impact, then corrects. Damage control teams are running before the ship finishes moving. The USS Cole charges north at flank speed, placing herself between the artillery positions and the Lincoln. Her 127mm gun cycles as fast as its autoloader will permit, returning fire at the cliff positions above Bandar Abbas, walking rounds up the escarpment until the first battery goes silent, then shifting to the second. Lincoln accelerates southeast. The gray giant runs, and the running is a statement. 100,000 tons acknowledging that this night has not gone as planned. 1 elevator gone. Port deck edge destroyed. 3 aircraft immobile behind yellow barriers. The fires are contained but not out. Repair crews work in the dark against the orange glow coming off the burning deck sections behind her. Cole and Gravely hold the line against the coastal artillery, returning fire into the cliffs. 2 batteries go silent under the counter-fire. 2 continue firing until Fa-18s, rolling in from above, put both positions inert with precision strikes. The cliff faces erupt outward in twin explosions, visible for 32 kilometers across the Gulf. By 5:30, the last shell had fallen short. The immediate threat was broken, but Lincoln was hurt, and Iran had shown without any doubt that it was willing to burn everything to make that point. Dawn comes up hard and gray over a carrier that is still bleeding. Repair crews work Lincoln's damaged port edge in the early light, cutting away twisted steel, securing exposed structural members, laying temporary decking over the gap where the elevator used to be. The carrier moves southeast at increased speed, her wake churning wide and white behind her. Aircraft launch from the 3 operational catapults, the rhythm slower than normal. The gap on the port side is conspicuous to every pilot walking to their aircraft. Lincoln is operational. Lincoln is also visibly, permanently marked. The U.S. Fifth Fleet releases a statement at 6:15, Lincoln sustained structural damage while successfully defending against an unprovoked multivector attack. On the damaged deck, the word structural lands differently than it reads in a press release. Then the reconnaissance imagery arrives, and the mood in the Combat Information Center drops. 3 Iranian ballistic missile sites that showed no activity before the Fordow strike are now repositioned and reloading mobile launchers in the open. Fuel trucks are in convoy, transporter vehicles carrying reload canisters toward sites that fired 4 hours ago. The process is visible, deliberate, and making no effort at concealment. Iran is reloading in plain sight. The message requires no translation. A second report follows, quieter and more unsettling. 2 Iranian Kilo-class submarines departed Bandar Abbas during the height of the engagement, slipping out while every defensive system in the battle group was occupied with missiles, aircraft, and coastal artillery. At 6:40, one of them surfaces briefly 24 kilometers northeast of Lincoln's current position, its conning tower visible above the waterline for 40 seconds before submerging again. Long enough to be seen. Long enough to be photographed by an FA-18 on patrol. Long enough to deliver a message that needs no words: we are already inside your perimeter. Lincoln's course change is immediate and sharp, a hard turn south. Escorts reposition. The USS Harry S. Truman receives new orders at 7 o'clock, 1,450 kilometers southwest in the Red Sea. Another carrier group turns northeast at flank speed, a second gray giant committing to the problem, her escorts fanning wide as the formation accelerates. 3 additional guided missile destroyers converge on Lincoln's position from separate vectors, tightening the ring around the damaged carrier. The Strait of Hormuz is empty of commercial traffic, tankers and bulk carriers anchored in clusters at the Gulf's approaches, engines at standby, waiting for clarity that is not coming. At 7:15, new satellite imagery shows a 4th Iranian missile site activating, this one closer to the coast. Mobile launchers are already erect, targeting solutions being prepared for ships in the Gulf. Not a nuclear site, but a purely military installation, fully operational, oriented directly at the rock. Lincoln's combat air control tightens its orbit. Gravely and Cole reposition. The carrier's remaining operational catapults begin cycling aircraft faster, Super Hornets launching in pairs, climbing hard, fanning out across the approaches. On Lincoln's bridge, the captain watches the damaged port deck through the forward windows. Below him, a crew member in a damage control vest stops at the edge of the destroyed elevator section, looks at the gap, looks at the gray water 12 meters below where the platform used to stop, then turns and keeps walking. The ship continues southeast. The horizon to the north is still faintly orange where Fordow used to be. The strike succeeded. The facility is rubble, confirmed by 3 separate passes. Collapsed entry structures, surface compound reduced to scattered debris and cooling metal. Washington got what it sent Lincoln here to deliver. But the Gulf is fuller now than it was yesterday. More ships converging. More aircraft cycling. 2 submarines running somewhere beneath the water, one already proven to be inside the defensive perimeter. Position unknown. Depth unknown. Intentions unclear. The 4th missile site is still active on the coast. The loading trucks are still moving in the mountain roads to the north. Fordow is gone. Everything else is just getting started. Somewhere beneath the Persian Gulf, an Iranian submarine had already shown it could reach Lincoln and then disappeared again into water that keeps its secrets.